Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. We are continuing our evaluation of the affidavit of probable cause in the case styled as State of Idaho versus Kohberger. The bottom of page 5 in our last episode, we noted that Detective Payne identified a vehicle which he called Suspect Vehicle 1 and that it was observed on video traveling westbound the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive. At the top of page 6, he states that this was at approximately 3:26 a.m. and that thereafter, about 2 minutes later, it was seen westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State 95, also in Moscow. He states here, additionally, that it appeared Suspect Vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. And as we get further on in our analysis of the affidavit, we will see that this is a critical point. Next, he writes that a review of the footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of Suspect Vehicle 1, starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show Suspect Vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leaves via Walenta Drive. Detective Payne states that based off of my experience as a patrol officer, that this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. He then goes on to write that Suspect Vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. Ladies and gentlemen, I would submit that this contradicts directly with the timeline that Detective Payne stated the murders occurred on page 5 of between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. How is it possible that if the suspect is already inside the house at 4 o'clock, that he could also be simultaneously driving around the neighborhood at 4:04 a.m.? In any event, he writes that it can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of the 500 Queen Road Apartments number 52, and then driving back westward on King Road. When Suspect Vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appears to unsuccessfully attempt to park or to turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. The next portion of the affidavit contains what is, in my opinion, another direct contradiction of the timeline where Detective Payne stated on page 5 that the murders occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. because here he writes on page 6, quote, Suspect Vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed, end quote. It is not possible, in my opinion, that the suspect could be in the 1122 house committing the murders between 4 o'clock and 4:25 and simultaneously be seen speeding out of the neighborhood at a high rate of speed at 4:20. But it states so on pages 5 and now 6 of the affidavit of probable cause. He then writes Suspect Vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive, and that based on his knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, quote, that does not show Suspect Vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that Suspect Vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive, end quote. This means that there is a portion of Suspect Vehicle 1's travels that are not captured on video, and so therefore Detective Payne has to interject his opinion based on no evidence that it exited the neighborhood where he says it did. Page 6 concludes by stating Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington, and eventually the road leads to Pullman, Washington, which is a neighboring town. They are located approximately 10 or so miles apart. This concludes our analysis of page 6 of the Affidavit of Probable Cause. Join us, please, for the next episode where we will continue by evaluating page 7. Thank you for your time and your attention.